You might want to zoom in a little bit, buddy.
How do you do that?
If you're on a Mac, Control, and then with your touchpad. Now go over to the left. Alrighty. It's a lot better. All right, so what we got right here is the Boston Celtics 53.5 wins, Milwaukee Bucks 52.5 wins, Phoenix Suns 52.5, Clippers 52.5, Warriors 51.5, Sixers 50.5, Brooklyn Nets 50.5, Denver Nuggets 49.5, Memphis Grizzlies at 48.5, Dallas Mavericks at 48.5, the Miami Heat at 48.5, the Minnesota Timberwolves at 48.5, the Cleveland Cavaliers at 47.5, and the Atlanta Hawks at 45.5. That right there is your 14th best odds, like according to what website is this?
This is according to, I think, this is VegasInsider.com, but I think these are like the official. Maybe
the official, wherever we got these numbers, take them for what you want. Now, we're going to go through this list right here, starting off with the 53.5 Boston Celtics. We're just going to say over, under. I personally think, I think 53 wins is kind of perfect. This is a 50-win team, but I don't see him being closer to 60. I see him closer to 50. So I'll have to take under right there. I think they're like a 50, 51, 52, 53 win team. As Jackson has gone silent and no response.
My Wi-Fi is cutting out. Here.
You good though? I hear your Wi-Fi's out.
Now I can hear you. So Boston, there's no way, shape, or form they get to 53.5. There's actually no way. So I'd hammer in the under there. Milwaukee.
They were a 51-win team last year.
Yeah, exactly. So why would they?
Okay, under. Yeah, we're both in agreement under.
Okay. Yeah. No way. Anyways. Now, where are we going? One. Okay.
Bucks, Suns, Clippers are in the next group. I think we're both in agreement that if the Los Angeles Clippers, right now they're projected 52.5 wins. Last year, the Los Angeles Clippers were a 42-40 team, and that was with an unhealthy team. If this team is healthy, I'm taking the over on the Los Angeles Clippers.
Yeah. Out of these three, Phoenix is no way getting to 52.5.
I agree.
No way Phoenix wins 53 games.
Clippers over, Phoenix under. We're on that one, right? I think there's just too much turmoil right now, and they're going to still be a playoff team. They'll still be a good team. I just think they're going to come out the gates a little stumbling.
I think they'll make the play-in, but I guess that counts as the playoffs in today's day.
So under for the Suns, over for the Clippers. The Bucks is the hardest to gauge. This was a 51-win team last year. I think
Milwaukee hits it, but I am a little, just like the high vibe here, I'm a little skeptical with the Clippers. This is not something I would bet money on. I would not bet on the Clippers unless you were doing the whole NBA and you had.
I would bet on the Clippers. Right now.
That's a pretty risky bet right there.
It depends on how much I'm throwing. You never asked that, so fuck you.
Yeah, but are they gonna get to 53 wins? I mean, I'm just saying, if I'm putting money on it, I think, how many games is Kawhi actually playing? How many games is John Wall playing? How many games is Paul George playing? I feel a lot more comfortable taking the under with the Clippers, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were the number 1 seed in the Western Conference.
This is at least a 54-win team.
But that's with the assumption that they're fully healthy all season.
You see those thighs on Kawhi?
Yeah, but he's still not playing back-to-back, so he's still going to be load managed.
And they have the depth. I mean, this is 12 players deep before you even hit Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard's the 13th guy on this team.
Yeah, it's just 53 wins is a lot. It's a lot of wins right there. So we'll see.
Next up is the Warriors. I think the Warriors have 51 wins. Last year, they won 53. I'm taking the over on this. This is easy money. Okay, at this point, the Warriors are Tom Brady. I guess this year's Tom Brady, but Tom Brady of the past, it's a guarantee. So I don't know if you're there with me on that one.
I'm in agreement. What's up, Matt? What's up, TP? Warriors, yeah. They're doing what no one's ever done in the NBA, and that's win for over a decade. That's what they're aiming for, I think.
Okay, just ignore the San Antonio Spurs.
Did they win 4 rings in 8 years?
They won 5 rings in over a 15-year span.
But did they win 4 rings? And I mean, so if the Warriors were on that pace, they'd have
They
7
won.
or 8 rings.
They have. I think they won 4 years with 4 rings in 10 years. Right.
My point is this. Yeah, okay. I like that a lot more. My point is that the Warriors say they don't win the next 2 seasons. You have 4 wins in 10 years. But what they're doing differently than San Antonio is they're not doing a rebuild. They're leaning on their young talent. They're not taking a gap year. They're just going straight.
San Antonio didn't, dude. San Antonio, that's the whole thing with San Antonio, why there's so many foreign guys. Like there's so many players that would be like Boris Diaw, okay? You got Diego Splitter, okay? Like guys who like over the years, and those are just the more recent ones. There's guys that you haven't like the what is it, Rick Barry's son, Brent Barry was one of the guys who was there. Big Shot Rob was there. Like they brought guys always like the Warriors are following the Spurs blueprint.
Yeah, I guess they didn't. They went from 96 to 2019.
And the thing is with the Spurs, they had it figured out. They had Kawhi. They just got, shit out of luck. Kawhi wanted out. But imagine if Kawhi stayed, they would have had Kawhi, DeJounte Murray, Keldon Johnson at this point. Fucking what a team. And they would have Jakob Poeltl. Okay, like
no one's afraid of Jakob Poeltl or Keldon, but I get your point.
I'm getting a call from Kansas City, and I don't know who it is, but
what if it's the Chiefs organization looking to offer you a job?
Should I pick this up?
Yeah.
I missed it. We decided too late. So, and no, look. So, with this current, I agree. Warriors have taken over. Next up, the Sixers, Nets, and the Sixers and Nets. I think these are both teams that definitely have to be 50-plus win teams. I mean, the Sixers were a 51-win team last year, and they just got better. So that's another lock. Then you got yourselves over here, the Brooklyn Nets. I think they won 44 games last year with, Kyrie barely playing, and now they're going to have Kyrie and Ben Simmons. I feel like another lock right there. And the same thing with the Denver Nuggets. All 3 of these teams, I feel like, are locks to be over 50-win teams due to the fact that they just got healthier or better or both.
They're deep.
And they're deep. Next up, the Grizz and the Mavs. I just think they're both under. Like nothing against.
You want to do all 4, or are you saying of those 4, the Grizzlies and the Mavs? You think the Mavs will be under 40, 48 or 49?
They were a 52-win team last year. I feel like they're at 48. Like 48's a good number for them. Like 48 would. I think that's a good number. Don't you agree?
I think they'll get over it. I think it's a really good number. I think it's a really good number for all 4 of these teams on the list. But if we're going, I think Memphis and Miami both fall off a little bit. I think Miami's still a talented team, but I don't, 49 wins. I think Miami, dude, it's a really good year in the NBA. Holy.
It is. It's very deep.
I think Memphis will be under it. I think that Dallas will be right around it, and if I was betting on it, I would probably say over because of Luka. Miami and Minnesota, you're asking a lot. You're kind of anticipating that Anthony Edwards takes that jump right here, right now. I think losing Patrick Beverley was bigger than a lot of people realize, and Jared Vanderbilt. I think those were 2 huge losses that did a lot for their culture, setting the tone on the defensive end, and they're not bums on offense. I'm actually quite worried about Minnesota because I don't know if Rudy Gobert is – I don't know if he was the answer, but
I think Minnesota is a guarantee to being over. Like, this team needs to win 50 games. They just went out all this way. Chris Finch is one of the best coaches in the NBA. Like, I think the Miami Heat and the Timberwolves and the Cavs and I think from the Hawks to the Heat, all those teams are over, okay, because they have to be. And the Hawks went out and spent a bunch of assets. Same thing with the Cavs. They spent money and assets to go get themselves, players to win their increase. Last year, Atlanta was a 43-win team. You're telling me 45 wins. They need to be better than that. Okay, you got Cleveland last year was a 44-win team. They need to be better than that. So that's why I think they're going to have – Miami was a 53-win team. They only lost one guy in the game players, technically, because they got Nikola Jovic, and they also got, some guys through two ways and undrafted. So I think all in all, the Heat are either the same. I just think – and the same thing with Timberwolves. Last year, the Timberwolves were 46 and 36, and they got better. So, all in all, I think this is just both teams are getting better.
Did the Timberwolves really get better?
Yes, they got better. Shut the fuck up. Anthony Edwards.
I have issues with those takes because unless you don't think that Cleveland or Atlanta will get up to 50, that's 7 50-win teams you got there in the East, and that's a lot of wins. I don't think Miami gets it. I don't think Atlanta gets it. Cleveland, I think they're going to be right there. But as far as over-under, I think Miami will be under it. I think Cleveland will be just barely above it, and I think Atlanta will be just barely above it. But
I just think when you're a team and you give up all these assets, Jaden McDaniels is taking the jump. Anthony Edwards will be an MVP candidate. They've got point guard depth. They've got center depth. They've got, slow-mo. I think the T-Wolves made – the jumps. They got one of the best coaches in the league. They're going to be better. Eric Spoelstra, Jimmy Butler, Pat Riley, they got everything going there. I just can't. I don't bet against the Heat. So that's why I got the two of those there. Now the Cavs, another example. All the young guys are going to get better. They brought in Donovan Mitchell and didn't lose much. And in that case, I think 47 wins, that's a 3-win improvement. They definitely can get to 50 wins, okay? And I know that's hard to say, but I feel like this is going to be definitely feasible, and even the Hawks. But the whole thing is that if all these teams are this good, what if this means that the number one record in the East is going to be like a 45-win team because everyone's losing to each other?
No, Milwaukee will be over 50, but there's not going to be 7 50-win teams in the East. As good as the East or West is, both sides, I don't think you could clear 50. If they, maybe that's how good the NBA is right now. But yeah, like you're kind of saying, some teams are going to have to lose.
Yeah, some teams are going to have to lose because I was just making that argument.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll know a little bit more as we get down here. Get out of here.
Who'd you say get out of here, dude?
Oh, the ad.
Oh. Yeah, and I think, when I was saying this whole argument and as we went down, it's just look, I just think that's just going to be hard for all these teams to have success because the same thing with the Lakers, Raptors, Pelicans, Bulls, Blazers, and the Wizards. These are all teams that I think are going to be way better than that, okay? Same thing with the Magic and the Pistons. I think they're going to be way better than that, and then the Knicks, I think they'll be around what they're projected. The Hornets, I think, will be there or under. Same thing with the Kings. Well, the Kings, I think, will be better. But, I don't know, man. This is why this shit gets hard. Okay? What's up, Andre?
Let's go down it. What's up, Andre? First off, nice to see you. But Lakers, 45.5. Yes or no? Or over under?
Lakers, I think you can just – I think we're in mutual agreement that from the – Lakers to the Blazers, those are all overs.
Yeah.
The Raptors are going to be better. Okay. The Lakers are going to be better. The Pelicans are going to be better. Are you hearing the ringing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
That's not why I'm doing this, though.
Okay, word. No, because it felt really loud and it's not going just to my headphones. And I'm like, why is this happening?
No, this is just a hard this is just difficult. I think the Lakers barely scratch over it. I don't think they'll be a crazy impressive team, but I think that they'll be looking fine for the playoffs. We'll see what happens with Russ. I still think keeping Russ is the best option. Raptors, definitely, I don't think anyone's disagreeing. They'll be over 45.5, even if they were injured. Even if they had a similar season like they did last year, not only did they get deeper, but they also won 48 games last year. So agree with that. Pelicans, there's just too much talent, I think, to not win 45 games. They might be a team where they deal with some injuries or they just deal with a competitive West as they try and get in the flow of things, but they started getting in the flow of things last year. Now you got a healthy Zion Williamson. I think they're definitely getting 45. Now the Bulls are interesting. The Bulls are where I get a little. I think they'll be over 45, 42 and a half wins. I think they can hit 43 wins. They should hit 43 wins. I would not be surprised if they missed the play-in, or if they were a play-in team and missed a top 6 seed. I wouldn't be surprised one bit. I don't think it'll happen. Agree with you on Portland. Knicks are a little bit more difficult. This is when it gets like really kind of shitty. I mean, just eyeballing it, I think Sacramento definitely clears 34 wins. I think that's kind of rude. I think Detroit does hit 30 wins. I think Orlando definitely hits 27 wins. I think Houston wins more than 24, but 23 and a half, I think they get to 24. I mean, these are more hit or miss. It kind of depends on how you're viewing these squads. Charlotte's tricky for me. With no Miles Bridges, I don't think they win 37 games. The Knicks, as Andre's saying, 40 wins. They're going to be right there, man. They're probably going to be right around 500. The Knicks are probably in a play-in spot. I struggle with the Knicks one.
That's where I struggle with the Knicks. It's if Julius Randle is playing at the level that we know he can play, which is like, what was he, second team All-NBA? And then
we were saying last year was a down year for him, and he still went 20-10-5.
Yeah, but it was just like a mental stuff and shooting wise.
Shooting bricks.
And the defense just fell off a cliff. But with that being said, it's also, are we buying stock in Quentin Grimes? Are we buying stock in RJ Barrett? But primarily, are we buying stock in the Evan Fournier, Jalen Brunson backcourt? Not for offense. I believe that duo right there is easily giving you 42 points a night, 17 from Evan Fournier and 25 maybe from Jalen Brunson. But what I'm scared of, that duo might be giving up 45 points back as well, because the defense right there, like people are saying they're scared of the Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell. I'm not as fearful. I'm more scared of a Jalen Brunson, Evan Fournier, or whoever, Jalen Brunson, Derrick Rose, whoever they put Brunson with. I'm more scared of that than I am of a Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, because I know Darius Garland has shown the ability, to be a pickpocketer, and I know Donovan Mitchell also has shown the ability to be a guy, and Donovan Mitchell has 6'9" arms. Jalen Brunson has short arms. And Evan Fournier. Look, Evan Fournier has tried to play defense many years ago, and he was a borderline average defender. Just Evan Fournier is just someone that doesn't have the skill set to be a good defender. He can try, okay, and he'll be like, he's kind of like Max Strus, Duncan Robinson. Not that he's a turnstile, it's just there's certain guys that like they'll try hard and everything. It's just that like they don't have the step to keep up. They'll get, like it's nothing, no offense, like just at an NBA level, he's not a good defender.
I think they have a ton of scoring on this team.
Yeah,
young scoring. You're hoping, so I think they'll be right around 500. If I was betting on this, I'd go over it, but I'd be really like, this is probably the one I feel the least confident with every single team.
It's the other thing that we're overlooking. It's not even about scoring or defense. It's about maturity. I think this team, the biggest thing is we need the guys to be mature. And I hate to throw that out because they're professional athletes, and you assume when someone's a professional athlete, they're mature. And I know we're just two guys sitting basically in our rooms just talking about this. But this is where I think people don't realize is like a lot of these guys on their team are either our age or younger. And even the older guys, they've been known to have, nothing. This could be not true. This could be all because of media, as I've never met these guys before. So, I hold everything that is portrayed about athletes in the media with a grain of salt, because you don't really know how that person truly is in person, because you don't know them. But we know Julius Randle and Derrick Rose and, are some guys, and even Mitchell Robinson are guys who, when upset, aren't really too careful about how they express themselves when upset. And you might think that's not a big thing in an NBA locker room, but when one guy gets pissed off, he starts to get in the young guys' heads.
Yeah.
And that's how you lose a locker room.
Yeah, like the Knicks come out, lose 4 straight. Even if one person isn't pleased with that and it's a veteran, I mean, it's going to kind of infect, that's when you start getting the hesitation. Is this the right coach for us? Does he actually care about us? But I think that, I really like, we talked about RJ. He's so out of the media. I think that's really cool for a guy.
I like that too.
Just a little under our age, but,
I think RJ's my age because you're 6 months older than. No, you're 6 months, 5 months older. You're June or July? July. You're 4 months older than me.
The birthday's in. Then it's in October.
I'm 11/11/99. I forgot who Mark Sanchez and
holy shit.
Mark Sanchez and Leonardo DiCaprio and I all share the same birthday.
Nice.
Yeah. Is that either way? And Willie Parker. But I also think Howard Hughes.
I like the last two people on that. Dude,
never mind. Howard Hughes is born on Christmas Eve. But now let's move over from the Knicks. Knicks is a toss-up. The Hornets is the same way. I mean, I made a video today. Hasn't gotten much traction. Hopefully it will with time. But Kelly Oubre is... All right, first off, trial for Miles Bridges got pushed back again till I think next week or the following week, something like that. As we've said previously, we'll talk about that once we know more information. And besides that, Kelly Oubre was the leading scorer the other night in preseason, but the Hornets have made it, not the Hornets, but the reports have made it clear that regardless of what happens with Miles Bridges being found guilty or not guilty, he will be reprimanded by the league substantially. Like, the way no one has said a length, but people have basically said, guy gonna miss a lot of time and seemingly probably a year. But
there's no way they get 37. Even with Miles Bridges, I think it's a toss-up because of how good the East is. I know the Hornets have talent, but I don't know if it's enough for me to feel confident with taking them over 37 wins, even with Miles. Washington, I think, will be just at worst barely over 35.5. Sacramento is easy over to me. Detroit's an easy over to me. Orlando's the easiest over for me. Utah is going to suck. OKC's not going to win much. Indiana might be a sleeper over just because that's a low at like 23.5, 24 wins. Depends on how long they have these vets. Houston, I think, will be over 24. I think they'll get 24 wins for sure.